Waiting for the AC to turn off. It's so quiet in here without it, but it's gonna get hot. So hot because it's 90 degrees outside. Okay, I'm wasting battery. Hello homemakers, I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. And today we're making cucumber cool salads. All right, cucumber cool salads are from section D, salads for every occasion, and it's card number 7. And right away we are intrigued by the color of this dish. It is bright, bright green, and that's because it's made with lime jello and has various vegetables floating in the jello. It's a cousin to the tomato aspic that we worked on a few episodes back. I believe I'm confused because there's 2 recipes on this card. One is for the garden relish mold, and one is for a cucumber sour cream salad. I don't think that this inside is the cucumber sour cream salad, but I'm gonna make it and put it inside the mold because why not? That's what we're doing here. We're making both recipes. So I think the sour cream salad's gonna be good. I'm not sure that the lime vegetable garden jello thing is gonna be good, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's take a look at the ingredients. For the garden relish mold, we'll need boiling water and a package of lime gelatin. We'll need a cup of shredded cucumber, a cup of thinly sliced celery, 3 tablespoons of thinly sliced green onions, some salt, and some celery leaves for garnish. I also got some radishes for garnish because the photo clearly has radishes in the mix too. And then for the cucumber sour cream salad, we have, it says 4 medium cucumbers, but I thought it'd be nice to have these English cucumbers for the salad. So they're really large, so I only got 2 large ones, which I feel like is gonna be the same as 4 medium. A cup and a half of sour cream, some garlic, some salad oil, which I guess is vegetable oil, some sugar, some salt, white wine vinegar, and dill. Okay, let's get started. All right, so our first step is to make the jello. We need a cup and a half of boiling water. Got our boiling water. We've got our lime jello. Now the lemon jello, didn't like it. It smelled very artificial. And this lime is also artificial flavor. So pour boiling water over gelatin in bowl, stirring until gelatin is dissolved. Ooh. Yeah, that smells artificial. I did a lot of science things when I was a kid. Like I had like science kits where it like made food that looked like it was like a easy bake oven, but like it made sciencey things. Maybe it was Harry Potter themed. I don't know, but that's what this reminds me of. You would do, yeah, I think it was Harry Potter themed, and you would do like you would make like potions, but they were all edible. Okay, this is dissolved. So now we're gonna chill it until slightly thickened but not set, which we learned from making the tomato aspic, so that the vegetables can kind of float. All right, so while we're waiting for the jello to set a little bit, we are going to shred this cucumber. We're gonna shred this cucumber. But before I shred it, I'm gonna peel it, because I just feel like I don't really like this type of cucumber. I don't know what it's called, but it's like, has a very thick skin, and the skin is like fairly bitter. Like I've made the mistake of not peeling this before, and it's just like not good. It doesn't taste good in salads and other things. So I like don't like to buy this kind of cucumber, but I felt like it would be the best kind to shred, you know, because it's kind of, it has a high water content. This is why I don't like this kind of cucumber. The seeds are so big. We have a cup of shredded cucumber. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I've decided, is use a paper towel to squeeze out the water. Uh-oh. Maybe my paper towel method is not. Maybe I should just use my hands. I'm gonna start by cutting the green onions. It's nice to see a green onion in the mix. I feel like we use celery a lot, but we haven't used cucumber yet in a recipe. Ah! Come back. So I'm just gonna put this in the bowl with the celery because it's all going to the same place. I'm not measuring it. It's probably more than 3 tablespoons, but okay. Now I learned, see, I'm living and learning, because when I made the tomato aspic, I was really excited to have the celery floating in the aspic, and I wanted the U shapes like, you know, hanging out, but it was actually like kind of annoying to bite into a giant U-shaped chunk of celery. So I think this time I'm gonna slice it into like a smaller dice, because I think it'll taste better. You know, you live and learn. That's probably a cup. Oh, last thing is the radish for the garnish. I don't know how many radishes we'll need, but I'll start with 1. Oh, that's an interesting shape. I'll start with 1 as thinly sliced as possible here. Set that aside for later. Okay, so now while I'm waiting for the jello to set a little bit more, I'm gonna start on the cucumber sour cream salad. So I need 4 medium cucumbers thinned slicely into a large bowl. So I'm actually gonna use a mandolin to slice, just so that it's a little bit easier, the slices will be even and very thin, which is what we want for the salad. See how fast this is? Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough cucumber. I don't know if I have to do the second one, but stir together remaining ingredients, except dill weed. Pour over cucumbers and toss. Let them sprinkle with dill weed. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we've got our cucumber slices in the bowl. And we're going to stir together the remaining ingredients. So we need 1.5 cups of sour cream. Let's see. Okay, that's a cup. So I believe this is my first appearance of real garlic in a Betty Crocker recipe. I think we've used garlic powder before, but I feel like she wasn't a big garlic fan. I feel like garlic's come more into vogue since Betty Crocker, but I'm using garlic every single time I cook, so it's shocking to me that I never had to use garlic until now. And instead of mincing it on a cutting board, I'm gonna grate it on the microplane, which helps kind of get, basically, you'll see, it just becomes like garlic sludge. 2 tablespoons of oil. 2. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of white wine vinegar. There we go. Oh, did I put the sugar in? No, this is 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm doing it. 2 pp. Yeah, I don't know how much of this is gonna fit in my tiny hole that I create myself in my jello mold, because I don't have a jello mold that's an actual ring. So the last thing to do is just chop up this dill weed. We need 1/2 teaspoon. That's a heaping tablespoon, not 1/2 teaspoon, but I'm doing it. Who's here to stop me? I'm alone in my apartment. Okay, so we're gonna sprinkle the dill on top. Okay, so we're gonna cover this up and put it in the fridge to chill. And hopefully by now our jello is solid enough that we can put the vegetables in. I'm kind of trying to kill time here, waiting for our jello to solidify. All right, it's time for a little Betty history. Well, not Betty history. Today I just wanted to talk about the history of jello because I think, you know, there's a lot of interesting things about Betty Crocker, but I also wanted to explore other elements of food culture and convenience cooking, and Jell-O is owned by Kraft Foods, but I think it has a pretty fun story to tell. So people had been eating gelatin since the Middle Ages. It used to be a food that only the extremely wealthy could afford, like royalty could afford, because to make gelatin you had to cook down animal bones to release collagen for like days and days and days. So you had to have like a whole staff of kitchen servants like making gelatin, and so not a lot of people could eat it. But in like the late 1800s, 1845 or so, instant gelatin was invented, and that was kind of a game changer. Now the average individual could use gelatin in their cooking, and it became more popular because they saw it as this high status symbol. To be able to make it in your own home was really groundbreaking. And in 1899, there was a failing cough syrup maker who decided to combine gelatin with fruit syrups, and he created Jell-O. And he was able to sell his product, sell the patent. I think he sold it for like $450, and the new owner within 3 years had made it worth like $250,000, which is like $7.5 million today. That's because the new owner had this very strategic advertising campaign. So he knew that people didn't really know how to use the product, and so he would put out ads that had recipes in the ad for like how to make different Jell-O concoctions, different desserts, different dinners with Jell-O. And because the ad told you what to make and how to make it, you were more likely to be like, oh, I'll buy that and follow this ad and follow this recipe. So that's kind of how it became so popular, is this ad campaign, which by the way used illustrations by Norman Rockwell. And so Jell-O got this like very wholesome, family-friendly appeal because of his portraiture. Eventually Jell-O was bought by General Foods, which eventually became Kraft. And really continued to grow after World War II and during World War II, because it was a way to stretch ingredients. You know, like the aspects we've been making on this channel where you're putting vegetables into Jell-O means that you're using less of your vegetable rations and you're making a whole meal out of it, where like you can get filled up by Jell-O and still have a serving of vegetables. So that was a way that women could quickly make a filling dinner using what they had. Especially a lot of women during World War II were like out working because the men were overseas. So they could put a Jell-O in the freezer or in the fridge at the end of the night, and dinner for the next day would just be ready when they came home from work. I think in the post-war era, there was this shift to more processed foods and convenience foods. More people had these like technological innovations at home, like you had your own refrigerator for the first time or a can opener for the first time, and these innovations made people want to make more elaborate things. There's also this post-war kind of boom in housewives entertaining guests, whereas before you would go out, now the party was in your own home, and so the Jell-O dishes got more and more and more elaborate to constantly surprise your guests and make them shocked at your innovation in Jell-O cooking. What I find fascinating about Jell-O is, you know, we don't eat like this today. Like, we don't eat Jell-O molds and rings of Jell-O and aspics, but I think that it's fascinating for me to work through this library and see how Betty has found ways to integrate Jell-O into so many dishes, because it really is that sentiment of like giving the housewife, giving the homemaker like something to feel like you're doing something presentable and elaborate but easy and attainable, and not feeling like overwhelmed, like you don't have the ability to make a beautiful dish. Like, you can, and it's easy and simple if you use Jell-O. And it's fun to like experiment. Like, we don't eat like this today, so I'm excited to dig into this when it's done. I think this is thickened but not set. Oh yeah, it feels thick, and when you drag your my spatula through, you're seeing it starting to set. Here I have the cup of celery, the 3 tablespoons of green onion, and the cup of shredded cucumber. And I'm just gonna pour it all in. Mix her up. Okay, if y'all remember, I wanna have a jello ring with a hole in it, but I only have this jello mold from my grandma. So what I'm gonna do is put this cup in here to create a small hole, flip it upside down like this, pour this jello in, and hope that it doesn't leak, and hope that we have a little hole at the end. Okay, we're pouring. Ooh. Okay. We do have bottom leakage. We're going back in. Sorry. See, there's not a lot. Oh, did the cup float? Oh my God, the cup's floating. That's why I taped it. Jesus Christ. Okay, 3rd time's the charm. Now, was that so hard? I'm gonna cover this with some cling wrap. So we're chilling until set. And then we're gonna see how we unmold it. All right, so I think the garden relish mold has chilled and set, we hope. I'm just gonna quickly, like the card says, for the cucumber sour cream salad, just before serving, toss carefully. So I'm gonna toss it carefully. A liquid has started to collect, but I guess that's why we're tossing, to get that back in the mix. Ta-da! Okay. I mean, it came out of the mold. I mean, that looks like the photo. And now we're gonna fill it with some of this cucumber salad. That looks pretty presentable to me. Lovely, a lovely cool summer salad. All right, let's taste it. Let's dig in. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid. It looks beautiful. Like this is the like Betty Crocker I want to see in the world, you know? Okay. That's not bad. Honestly, it smells worse than it tastes. It smells more limey than it tastes. Wow, okay. This is refreshing. It's a little sweet, which throws me off. The cucumber salad is more normal. The garden relish mold is disgusting. I wonder if I could have let it chill longer and maybe it'd be more congealed because it is kind of just like falling apart on the plate. It's not the worst thing I've ever tasted, but it's definitely not good. I don't think I'd ever eat it again. Swallowable, which is more than I can say for other things I've made on this channel. All right, cucumber cool salads. These were both cool and refreshing salads. The garden relish mold was just kind of bizarre. The lime flavor really like just is so not what you need when you're eating vegetables. I don't know why. I didn't hate the texture. I feel like I could see that being a refreshing dish if it didn't taste so artificially limey. But the sour cream salad was really great. I thought that was fun. I think overall I'll give them 3 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy homemaking.